You know what the best part is? The best part about this review? I think we're the only one. What's up, lovers of whiskey and watchers of YouTube? I'm the Malt activist and I am back. I am back from my adventures in Islay. I hope you enjoyed that little series as much as I did. I tried to film everything that I could to try and give the feeling that you were there, even if you weren't. Hopefully you saw the festival through my eyes. I found some interesting whiskeys and I found some not so interesting whiskeys. But overall, I had a great time with my close bunch of friends. We hung out, drunk some good whiskeys on my favorite island in the world, surrounded by my favorite people. So there's absolutely no downside to that trip, except for a few midges. Except for a few midges in the evening, but other than that, an absolutely stellar boys trip. So thank you for watching that series. If you haven't, check it out. It's 6 days of whiskey-fueled boys' adventures. So you know what? Can't go wrong with that. So thank you for that. Which brings us to our video for today. And I was thinking, hey, just let me maybe review another peated whiskey. But I was like, oh my God, no man, I don't want to review another peated whiskey right now. I'm going to give that a break. Thanks to my shenanigans on Islay. So I've decided the next best thing would be this. The Balvenie. Oh yeah. 18-year-old finished off in Pedro Ximenez Casks. Are you kidding? What's up? So I'm sitting here with Balvenie's latest addition to their travel retail series. This is none other than the Balvenie 18 years old, and this has been finished in Pedro Ximenez Casks. As you can see for yourself, it says finished in PX sherry butts, and this is bottled at 48.7% ABV, which is a very, very decent and healthy strength. So I like that. We have some details here on the first cask. Okay, so it says many years of maturation in traditional American oak whiskey barreled mellows the maturing spirit and imparts warming layers of honey and vanilla. I'd have to agree. I do find some honey and vanilla here. So first cask, original American oak, and the second cask is finishing in PX sherry butts, creates a fusion of sweet lavender, mandarin, fig, and subtle clove. I kind of have to agree with that as well. So, but what they don't tell you, which I find really interesting, is that they don't give you the number of years. It says many years, many years. Years on end, 1 year after the other. Dozens and dozens, no, it can't be dozens and dozens, but many years in in original American oak barrels. So I'm guessing first fill bourbons, maybe some second fill bourbons, but I think mainly first fill bourbons. And then the second cask, the finishing cask, is a PX sherry butt, and it says finishing for several months. It says several months. They don't specify. So they don't say it's 17 years in bourbon barrels and another year in the sherry butt. They say several months. So to the best of my guessing abilities, I'm going to say roughly 16 plus years maybe in the bourbon barrels, and then maybe a year and a half in the PX sherry butts for us to get this whiskey. There you go, you can see what it is. And I've had this whiskey, I had it at a friend of mine just the other day. Let's get a glass out. That's what it looks like. Thank you, Sir David Stewart, MBE, for not coloring this whiskey. It's highly appreciated. For not chill filtering this whiskey, which is also highly appreciated. For serving it to us at a decent ABV of 48.7%. Wrong side, where it go? There it is. also extremely highly appreciated. Now, I have always maintained that Balvenie probably makes the best noses. Maybe sometimes on the palate they're not that great, but on the nose they are definitely on the money every single time. And for that I have to take off my hat to Sir David Stewart, who is the master distiller whiskey maker for Balvenie. I believe he's retiring soon. He spent a good 50 plus years in the industry. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. And it'll be a sad day when you do leave the industry. I hope you stick around and still impart some wisdom. It's much needed. Anyway, now the whiskey at hand, we're talking about the Balvenie 18-year-old finished off in Pedro Ximenez Casks. Now, travel retail. Every time I hear the word travel retail, I take a little gasp and I say to myself, this is not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And I feel that most distilleries have this habit of just phoning in their travel retail. You know, Macallan probably being the biggest culprit of them all. They've been flooding the travel retail with just weird whiskeys named after colors and I don't know what. And they're all so just completely without character. And so anything that says travel retail, and Balvenie too has been a culprit of phoning it in when it comes to travel retail. I thought their triple cask series was just not good at all. Maybe the 12 triple cask is kind of okay, but the 16 and the 25, absolute disaster. In fact, quick anecdote, a few years ago, a friend of mine, close friend of mine, you know, part of my whiskey circle, decided to call some friends over, and to commemorate us coming over, he very graciously and kindly bought a Balvenie 25 triple cask from one of the duty frees during one of his travels, and he opened it up that evening, and it was like I think a 500-pound bottle at that time, or a 400-pound bottle, I don't remember, but it was expensive, it wasn't cheap. And we had it, and it was absolutely pedestrian, you know, great nose, just completely pedestrian on the palate. The triple cask really wasn't doing anything, and it felt thin, it felt watered down, the flavors were just bleh. And you know, we didn't enjoy it at all, which was a real kick in the teeth for my friend who had gone out and, you know, spent his hard-earned money and brought us what he thought was going to be a good whiskey, but it wasn't. So anything that, you know, screams travel retail, I shy away from. Until my good friend Rohit, you would have seen him in my Isla videos. He was my cottage mate. He was my housemate for the duration there, for our holiday there. And he called me and he said, dude, I'm getting the Balvenie 18-year-old for around $200 US, less than $200 US, so around 150 pounds or so. Do you think that's a good deal? And I thought to myself, I said, there's not many good 18-year-old single malts out there that you can get for less than $200. So I was like, yeah, man, go for it. He also picked up the 15-year-old Madeira cask finish, which we will review in our next video. It's also a decent dram. I don't think it's as good as this one, which is why I wanted to do this one first. So yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Like I said, man, Balvenie noses, you just can't go wrong with Balvenie noses. They're great noses, just like this one. But the PX really just punches through everything. I get dark honey, vanilla, milk chocolate, coconut cream, raisins, sultanas, caramel crunch, clove with a touch of oak. So just your really good, well-constructed, sherry-driven flavors, even though it's a PX finish, which means, you know, a year, 18 months, maybe 2 years max. I don't think longer than that. And it's been, and this must have been a really, really good cask because there's no off notes. I don't smell any sulfur at all. And for the short duration that the spirit was in this particular cask, it's really, really punched the flavors up. And at least on the nose, it is quite stunning. I really like this nose. Like I said, the first thing I look for in a sherried whiskey is any hints of sulfur, any hints of dampness, anything that smells like, rotting eggs or maybe just a touch of garbage. But none of that in here. Extremely pleasant, very, very delicious aromas, very confectionery driven with the honey and the vanilla. So I love that. Yeah, and even the bourbon barrel maturation aromas come through quite nicely with the vanilla. I want to say some butterscotch as well, but that's really sort of subdued. But like I said, overall, very good nose. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. And onto the palate. Chin chin. Yes. Very, very oily. Thank you, non-chill filtration. Appreciate that. So very oily. Lots of black grapes, treacle, figs, manuka honey, oak, cinnamon, and a hint of clove. So overall, what you'd expect from a well-constructed, sherry-forward whiskey. You get that both on the nose and the palate. I love the fact that it has a nice velvety mouthfeel. It's quite robust. It coats your entire palate. It sticks nicely to your taste buds. Even the finish now is nice and long. I feel it all over. So in my books, I think this is a definite must-buy if you have 200 big ones to chuck at the distillery, to chuck at Balvenie and say, give me this 18-year-old. I'm going to drink it. So if you want my recommendation, I think this is a good dram. Should be bought. If 200 is a bit much, then maybe share it with a friend. And I think half a bottle of this whiskey for $100 is still not a bad deal. And like I said, man, I mean, I think Sir David Stewart is putting out some good stuff before he leaves, so that his legacy, remains strong. Not that it is not now. That's not what I meant. But I think he really wants to be remembered for a set of corkers that he released before he left. So I think this is definitely a step in the right direction in that sense. Again, beautifully constructed, decent price. I checked out some online reviews as well. I checked out some online prices as well, and there's some places selling it for 300 plus pounds. So obviously those are price gouging bastards, so do not go to that site. This is, I think, quite freely available at the duty free, at the travel retail, so please go ahead and find this bottle there if you want to buy it. And you know what the best part is? The best part about this review, I think we're the only one. We are, I think, officially the first independent review of this bottle. There is a video floating around on the Balvenie official page and the website, and it's very sort of corporate driven. And I tried to look around for some other reviews to see what other, whiskey reviewers will say about this whiskey, and I found absolutely nothing. Everybody's using the same literature from the, from the press release or from the bottle, and nobody's done an independent review. So looks like your boy is first on YouTube and kinda I think everywhere else. So this is a first. What I'm trying to say is at the Malt Activist headquarters, we do things before anybody else, I guess. No, I think we got lucky and we managed to snag this bottle and open it and drink it before any reviewer, whiskey tuber got their hands on it. So I'm glad we're one of the first people doing this review. I hope it helped. I think this is a good whiskey. Yeah, everything good about it. No real off notes, like I said. Good mouthfeel, well constructed. I like the PX. So, like I said, absolutely nothing wrong with this. Maybe the price tag you might feel is a bit high. I thought it was okay. It worked for me. Like I said, if it's too much, split it with a friend. But that's all I can say. So, there you have it. There you have it. You heard it here first, man. The Balvenie 18-year-old finished off in PX Sherry Butts, available at travel retail. Thank you so much for joining me for this whiskey review. I'm the Malt Activist. Until next time, peace.